No heroes. No heroes. No heroes, baby.
Hello and welcome back ahead of the final round of the No Heroes Online Regional. Unfortunately, we have to preface it with a little bit of bad news. Unfortunately, due to some technical limitations and issues, we are not able to stream and present to you the final of this tournament, the two 9-0 players battling off against each other. We can only apologize, but what we do have for you to make it up for you is, in terms of the World Championships end rankings at the end of last season, the second highest ranked player in the world. Revoye taking on Roberto. It is a Sakazuki versus Gecko Moria match. Our players are all set up and ready to get things underway. Remember as well, the end of this matchup, we will have ourselves that giveaway of a wonderful deck box and sleeves to go with it, thanks to our sponsors in Ultimate Guard. So be sure to stick around to the end of the matchup for more details on how to enter. But I believe with our players set up, there should be no more to go, nothing further to do to get this game underway. A matchup and a tale that's as old as time, since the OPO6 set has been released, with Gecko Moria, Sakazuki dealing against itself. Very similar strategies are going to be put to the test here. Of course, cost reduction is the name of the game, making sure that we can deal with some of those early characters. Both decks will undoubtedly be running Gecko Morias, as well as we've seen throughout the day, the weekend, and throughout the entire OPA6 meta as well. But with the inclusion of EB01, there will undoubtedly be maybe a couple of extra little tools and options that these players have decided to take for themselves here today. So I think our players are finally ready to kick things off as we await the switch over and are underway. Starting things off, it looks like, with Roberto with Gecko Moria, and he's going to kick us off for the first time, I think, today with a Victoria Sindri. He's going to send the top 5 cards of the deck to the discard pile. So an Absalom and a Rob Lucci as two notable cards going in there. And now straight on to Revoye, who will kick us off with a brand new search. And we'll grab one of those championship apples as well. I believe that was the Kuzan there that's gone into hand. It's not the only option that we can take here for turn. We are going to filter through with Sakazuki leader effect. And then the turn is sent straight back over for Gecko Moria. So yes, of course, Revoye, the runner-up at the World Championships, the runner-up at the European Finals as well, is a very, very accomplished player, very talented player, and is proving that again here today with an 8-1 record, as Absalom is going to be fetched here from the discard pile, thanks to the leader ability. Cerberus and Ice Age, that's an interesting card. That Cerberus that's been brought in to the list, just the 2-cost blocker.
I was about to say that. I was about to say the same thing. The 2-cost blocker included in Black Moria is something I've seen for the first time now.
Yeah, it's certainly not unheard of, but it's not common to see Cerberus getting played in Gecko Moria decks. They're very similar to Sakazuki. They're lists that are quite compact. There are a lot of cards that have to be in the deck to make it run at its most optimum and its best. So instead, we're seeing at least a copy here in this Moria deck.
So, okay. Sakazuki is just swinging for 5. The hit is going to be taking great option into Hound Place. And yep.
That's a combination that we've seen quite often. That eruption into Helm Blaze, bottom decking away that blocker Cerberus. So not going to be able to get too much value from that. Our turn is over with Gecko Moria on their 5 Don turn. A couple of options potentially for them here. Have to see, as Roberto is as well, the little check of the discard pile, what could potentially be brought back here. Not sure whether there is another Absalom there or not. We go in with 8. Trashing Absalom, Mill, Perona, and Lucci.
Oh, okay. Choosing to play Perona instead of another Absalom. All right.
Yeah, interesting decision there to play down the Perona.
I mean, I would have assumed that it's gonna be going for board control, but considering that we are getting closer and closer to the 8 Dawn turns, putting a brand new in trash is just gonna be more beneficial than at the turn. So
here's the cycle through from Sakazuki effect, getting rid of another Rob Lucci there in that situation.
I mean, what can you play with 6 Dawn?
In this situation, honestly, I'm not too sure. We're going to start off with a Toshigi, just to continue to try and find some more options. I mean, cards that come to my hand, there's Kuzan, of course, to be able to on play draw a card. There might be maybe another search with brand new. We could also potentially use one of the new cards from EB01 if that's being run in the form of Brook. Maybe not doing too much here in this situation with the characters that are on board. Certainly doesn't deal with that Perona too elegantly.
Right, we see swing with 5 Dawn left. Okay, the hit is gonna be taken too. All right. Yeah, I think this is gonna be quite a fast match. Creative option, I would assume onto Perona, and then just, is it gonna be Lucci coming down to get rid of both of them, or is it okay? It is Rebecca.
So that will be able to grab a Brook. Yeah. I was originally expecting a Rob Lucci to come down here, but deciding not to send the Victoria Sindri into the discard pile. Just happy to get rid of the Perona.
I mean, establishing Rebecca as a blocker and getting rid of the board is, a good trade in my book, but I didn't expect it either. I think this is the first time we saw Brook today, or did you saw it earlier?
Yeah, no, this certainly, from the top of my memory, is the first time that we've seen Brook get played down. One of the new EB01 cards we did mention just a moment ago. On play when attacking, give up to one of your opponent's characters -1 cost during this turn, then KO one of your opponent's 0 cost characters as well. That's on play and when attacking. So some great versatility, despite it only being a natural 4K body.
So we see Dr. Hawk back, grabbing back the best card in the deck, I would assume. And with 3 Dawn left.
Yep, that'll be reserved exclusively for the Moria effect. Discarding Great Eruption for cost. Kuzan, and didn't quite catch what the other card was. We'll see it on the top of the discard pile. It was another Kuzan, it looked like.
2 Kuzans being trashed?
Yeah, off the top of the deck. It looked like there.
Oh, yeah. It was indeed. So, players asking for information what is currently in the trash. And also, the swing is towards Brook and not towards Leader. So, trying to control the board as much as possible.
Yeah, and I like the attack into Brook as well. Just obviously, as we mentioned, that effect being able to happen on attacking or while attacking as well, as opposed to just being on play. The 4K stat line really hurts itself defensively and lends into these easy swings, but we are instead going to Okay, so we've discarded. It looks like the Mapo there for Perona effect, and then Rebecca has jumped in the way of the attack to keep Brooke alive going into this turn.
So now we are at the magic number 8. And I did not keep track of Sakazuki's players' trash. Did you see Helmepo in there?
Yes, a Helmepo has just been put there, thanks to the Perona effect, forcing Hervoye to discard a card. So there is indeed a Helmepo that is in the discard pile. So Brooke is going to attack in here. Is looks like counted away by a Borsellino.
I mean, the Brooke attack just fizzled, and then the second attack got counted.
Okay, yeah, that's what we did. Yeah, that's what we're counting.
But the question I'm having is, okay, no, it doesn't really matter which one he picked, because he reduced probably Perona or Dr. Huckbeck, reducing the other one with Helmepo, and then just KOing both of them, sending them to the trash. And yep.
Hold on, we're gonna declare Helmepo effect first as well, just to make sure that we've got all of the maths and all the effects happening correctly. So we'll reduce 2 of the cost of one of the characters. The Helmepo will reduce down the 3 down to 1, and then Lucci effect will happen 2 and 1, going straight into the discard pile.
So passing over 2 Gecko Moria with 9 done, obviously enabling themselves to play their own Gecko that they fetched earlier with Dr. Hockback. The question is, how do you answer the board effectively? Well, we have one answer. It is Great Eruption.
Yep.
Pursuantly onto Lucci. And then we swing most likely into Brooke, because
I feel like any time that is a potential target to go into, I can certainly see that is that just constantly being attacked into, especially now that there's no blocker on board. It is going to get counted away
by T-Bone. So that's just going to be a Gecko Moria, Breaker and Helmepo, and a Lucci, and okay,
Tsuru. That does the trick as well, and we'll take care finally of that Brooke. It was held on to for a couple of turns there by Hervoye, but no more value is going to be gained from that right now. Not without committing a second one down onto the board. Lucci's gone as well.
So the question now is, how many back-to-back Gecko Moors are we going to have? That's the real question right here.
It is indeed. We're on 1 for each player so far. Are we gonna want to go with another Gecko Moria here? Of course, now that Roberto has a Moria of their own, do we want to just immediately try and answer that? Or do we want to continue to deal with some of the smaller characters that are on board? Would take a lot to deal with Moria.
Alright, so we see a card being discarded. I think it's a Brooke.
Yeah,
I just saw the free cost, but with 10 done. I mean, if you have an Ice Edge, you definitely select your target as a Moria. And if you have another Tsuru, then you can even KO Gecko Moria. And actually no, Tsuru is -2 cost or -3 cost?
Tsuru is 2.
Okay, so then it must be Helmepo.
Yeah.
So
without the use of a tool like Navy HQ potentially as well to get that extra 2 cost reduction down for just the 1 Don. At that point you could also combine it with Great Eruption, but
alright, so we're gonna swing into Tsuru.
Yep.
clearing it. I mean, I think there's another one in trash anyway, so there's no reason to be picky. And we're gonna play another Gecko Moria. Rebecca and
she.
Alright, so we're choosing not to clear out the board and just at least for now.
Yeah, right now at least in this turn, it's certainly signaling from Hrvoje that there might not be an option. Helmblaze could change things though.
Definitely.
Just
also the Rebecca being able to play out a body onto the field. If there's a Hina that is being played out, replacing the Tashigi, you can just give -3 to, or just reduce the cost for Bluchi in general, Houndblaze it, and then swing again. So that's an angle you can take.
Yeah, we can deal with the Lucci. We're one don short of potentially being able, or one extra cost reduction option short of being able to deal with the Gecko Moria.
Yeah.
Now in this situation. Sure.
Let's see.
Rebecca.
I think nothing has been grabbed off the Rebecca just yet, but
no.
You're just gonna see the Brook.
The Brook will come back. So it does look like that we're targeting the Rob Lucci here for in terms of cost reduction and with that potential Houndblaze. Now, leader attacking counter. There is the Houndblaze. That will deal with Rob Lucci onto a brand new and a 6k attack into life. Sindri counters. And then the Moria will do the final big swing of the turn. Forces the life to be taken. And over we go to our Gecko Moria player.
Well, is it going to be back to back to back to back?
Going for the 4-peat in our last game of the online regionals.
Nah, I would never say such a thing. No, I think at this point you gotta have your own Gecko Morias to answer your opponent's one, and while doing so, responding to the board. But all right, playing with a Hamapo.
And on to the Rebecca here.
So we're gonna swing with Lee. All right. So that's an Absalom coming down for sure.
You'd have to imagine, I think, in this situation, Ice Agent brand new sent into the trash.
Yep, and
the
we have
Moria effect
and Ice Age and a Kuzan under the deck, and there goes the blocker. So swinging 6, leaving up, I think, 5 down open. Yeah, should be
1, 2, 3, 4,
yeah,
5. Yep.
It is exactly 5 down, so this would enable them to go play out a Sabo, protecting the entire board from being KO'd from any further shenanigans with Blue Cheese, but it doesn't protect them against Houndblazes or the Sword of
Now here goes 4k from Sindri. I imagine
into Brook.
Will be targeting Brook, yeah.
I mean, it must be, because otherwise, I mean, no.
I mean, there could be a crazy world that you're trying to force a 2k counter out of hand to save a brand new from being KO'd, but with that Brook still lying there on the opposite side of the board to you, we are going to cancel it out.
Yep. And if that's going to be 12 into, okay, 12 into the enemy.
Yep.
Alright. So
wait. So we're just gonna start attacking.
Alright. So we're gonna swing. That's 7, right?
It is 7 indeed. Ice Age trigger. Well, Get rid of the brand new. Now we're going to go 9 at life from MORIA. And then the rest
And
goes
that's
underneath
it.
the other. And it's game.
Alright. So, gonna have SAKAZUKI being 8-1. I wish I could have a quick glimpse towards the final match, but sometimes life is not as easy as that. So again, it was mentioned earlier, but I'm just gonna talk about it again. Since due to technical difficulties, we were not able to stream the Table 1 match, so we choose to stream the Table 2 match, but it was a good match indeed. I would assume that, yep, we're just gonna check real quick if it's gonna be possible now. But I've been told that. So, Ben, any words regarding the matchup we just spectated a second ago? You know, SAKAZUKI against MORIA.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, first and foremost, we've got to say that it's a world number 2 that's doing what he does best and showing why he earned that rank and won that spot back in the World Championships. SAKAZUKI is a really, really accomplished and fantastic player. It must be said that I think generally that matchup is a little more favored in towards SAKAZUKI. Obviously, the bottom decking capabilities are immense. MORIA is a fantastic deck. We've seen that and continue to see that. But I think when you've got the access to some of those blue tools that you get, Helm Blaze, Murakamo Sword, obviously the full plethora of the Navy package that you get access to in Stage as well, just nudges it a little bit into SAKAZUKI's favor. And it looked like we were able to see that there, and SAKAZUKI take the victory to 9-1.
That is true, but I don't want to interrupt you, but I am happy to announce that we can and probably gonna stream the last final match of the undefeated. So without further ado, we're gonna hop right into it in about a few seconds, hopefully. But we are also in the end game stages, with SAKAZUKI being on 0 life, Inner being surprise on 1 life. And yeah, I mean, we talked while we were trying to set up the match how likely it is, who is going to be the winner, Saka or Inner. We didn't decide on it yet because we were busy trying to fix it, but we are switching right onto it. So SAKAZUKI just used his leader ability, discarding a Hina to draw 1 more. And I mean, right now he has the option of playing a blocker and playing another blocker, preferably Sabo, to be safe.
Yeah, it's a bit of a strange board state actually that we joined this game in with SAKAZUKI. Only the Charlotte Pudding and Toshigi on the board, and for the side of the NL player, it's Kikunojo that is certainly a scary character to have on board. But you're not typically used to seeing SAKAZUKI with this few resources on board, especially against a deck like NL. You're definitely not expecting the board presence and the board control to happen from a deck like that. So really interesting state that we actually joined this game in towards the end, and definitely glad that we can try and get it on for you as well.
Yeah, I was just about to say the same, but considering that Anna is facing against SAKAZUKI being blue, Kikunojo is not a big problem. Home place is a thing, so or anything that just bottom decks is just ignoring the on KO effect. So we're gonna tap for, would assume for a Becca. Yep, indeed. Grabbing another Lucci. And I would assume playing out the Lucci.
Oh, Brooke.
Oh, okay.
Now we are gonna Lucci, it looks like this.
Yep.
Kikunojo away. Gonna return double Helm Blaze and Great Eruption back into the deck. There were some of those options potentially to be able to get it back into the bottom deck, but the effect is going to trigger on KO.
Mm-hmm.
And then now we'll heal back up to 2.
So on his last done, going up to 10. I mean, I don't see how many cards there are in the hand of the player, but it's gonna be 5. If it's just Amaru, I mean, Amaru would do the job, Reject would do the job to get rid of the blocker and just swing with 11k.
Difficult to see what that was. I think it might have been was it a reject or a king?
It
was reject.
I think it was reject. So
Reject,
he's
yeah.
just gonna swing for 11.
Can you counter? Let's have a look. What is in the hand for Sakazuki? Throws him down. I think is that it? No, checking the discard.
I think that's it.
It certainly seems like it from the reaction of the players. Yeah, looks like that's
Yes.
it.
And that will mark our undefeated player. It is Anna.
Wow.
I did not expect it.
Neither did I. Yeah, it was like you said though. It was those narrow combination of cards, or that narrow pool of cards that were going to be able to deal with that Rebecca blocker. The reject was one of them, and able to find it, send that blocker away, and just hope that in the amount of cards that were left in the Sakazuki player's hand, that there wasn't a whole bunch of 2Ks, and there wasn't in that situation.
Yeah, I mean, the best case scenario would have been just to play out a Sabo, protected, because Sabo is one of the only blockers that is, able to be unaffected by reject and not be out. So he would be safe. But reject was the card that he had in hand. He swung with 11, put all his faith, all his trust into the swing, and it was enough. So congratulations to the NA player. He's now our 10-0 player for today. It was a pleasure, like a real honor to be commentating with Ben. I mean, he showed us why he's a world-class renowned caster, and I hope we will have him maybe one day even in person. Ben, do you have some final words you want to say?
How do I follow up after that? Yeah, it's been a fantastic day. Really, really great matchup. Some really interesting, different deck ideas and food for thought going forward. Even for my own personal play style, I was originally building myself up into a Gecko Moria deck. Now it might be time to try and hunt down some starter deck 13s and join the Luffy gang. But yeah, a fantastic event. A massive thank you to noHEROES and yourselves for having me on. I hope that you've enjoyed it all tuning in, and hope to be back with you soon.
Yeah, so with that said, I hope I see all of you next week in Mülheim in the offline German regional. And without further ado, I hope you have a beautiful day and see you next week. Bye-bye.